Alright, I'll start over. Okay. Sorry guys, I thought I hit the live button. But I already read it, all of it. Man, let's start this over. Oh man. Alright. Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. I lost my spot. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Y'all know, no judgment. Y'all know the rules that I ask of anyways. And we're reading the big book, which I put in the description. I, for some reason, thought I hit the live button on YouTube, and apparently I did not, because I got a phone call. Thank you, sis, for letting me know. Are you going live? I was already reading. Anyway, start over again. Sorry, Facebook, but I gotta read it over again. Our women folk have suggested certain attitudes a wife may take with the husband who is recovering. Perhaps they created the impression that he is to be wrapped in cotton wool and placed on a pedestal. Successful readjustment means the opposite. All members of the family should meet upon the common ground of tolerance, understanding, and love. This involves a process of deflation. The alcoholic, his wife, and his children, his in-laws, each one is likely to have fixed ideas about the family attitude towards himself or herself. Each is interested in having his or her wishes respected. We find the more one member of the family demands that the other concede to him, the more resentful they become. This makes for discord and unhappiness. And why is it not because each wants to play the lead? Is not each trying to arrange the family show to his liking? Is he not unconsciously trying to see what he can take from the family life rather than give? Cessation of drinking is but the first step away from a highly strained abnormal condition. A doctor said to us, years of living with an alcoholic is almost sure to make any wife or child neurotic. The entire family is to some extent ill. Let families realize as they start their journey that all will not be fair weather. Each in his turn may be footsore and may struggle or straggle. There will be alluring shortcuts and path bypass down which they may wander and lose their way. Suppose we tell you some of the obstacles a family will meet. Suppose we suggest how they may be avoided, even converted to good use for others. The family of an alcoholic longs for the return of happiness and security. They remember when father was romantic, thoughtful, and successful. Today's life is measured against that and other years, and when it falls short, the family may be unhappy. Family confidence in dad is rising high. The good old days will soon be back, they think. Sometimes they demand that dad bring them back instantly. God, they believe, almost owes this recompense. Of course, I took my eyes off the book and I lost my thought. Father knows he is to blame. It may take him many seasons of hard work to be restored financially, but he shouldn't be reapproached. Perhaps, excuse me, will you lay down now? The dog. Lay down. Right now. Get up here and lay down. Come on. Come on. Lay down. No, no, you're not going to lay on the stuff. He's trying to lay on the computer. Stop. Stop. Will you quit? Anyway, perhaps he will never have much money again, but the Wise family will admire him for what he is trying to be, rather than for what he is trying to get. Now and then the family will be plagued by specters from the past, for the drinking career of almost every alcoholic has been marked by escapades, funny, humiliating, shameful, or tragic. The first impulse will be to bury these skeletons in a dark closet and padlock the door. The family may be possessed by the idea that future happiness can be based only upon forgetfulness of the past. We think that such a view is self-centered and in direct conflict with the new way of living. Henry Ford once made a wise remark to the effect that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. That is true only if one is willing to turn the past to good account. We grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. The alcoholic past thus becomes the principal asset of the family, and frequently it is almost the only one. This painful past may be and infinite value to other families still struggling with their problem. We think each family which has been relieved owes something to those who have not, and when the occasion requires, each member of it should be only too willing to bring former mistakes, no matter how grievous, out of their hiding place, showing others who suffer how we were given help in the very thing which makes life seem so worthwhile to us now. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have, the key of life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery from them. It is possible to dig up past misdeeds so they become a blight of veritable plague. For example, we know of situations in which the alcoholic or his wife have had love affairs. In a first flush of spiritual experience, they forgave each other and drew closer together. The miracle of reconciliation was at hand. Then, under one provocation or another, the aggrieved one would unearth the old affair and angrily cast its ashes about. A few of us have had these growing pains, and they hurt a great deal. Husbands and wives have sometimes been obliged to separate for a time until new perspective, new inventory over hurt pride could be re-won. In most cases, the alcoholic survived this ordeal without relapse, but not always. So we think that unless some good and useful purpose is to be served, past occurrences should not be discussed. We families of Alcoholics Anonymous keep few skeletons in the closet. Everyone knows about the others' alcoholic troubles. This is a condition which, in ordinary life, would produce untold grief. There might be scandalous gossip, laughter at the expense of other people, and a tendency to take advantage of intimate information. Among us, these are rare occurrences. We do not talk about each other a great deal, but we almost invariably temper such talk by a spirit of love and tolerance. Another principle we observe carefully is that we do not relate intimate experiences of another person's unless we are sure he would approve. We find it better when possible to stick to our own stories. A man may criticize or laugh at himself, and it will affect others favorably. But criticism and ridicule coming from another often produce the contrary effect. Members of a family should watch such matters carefully, for one careless, inconsiderate remark has been known to raise the very devil. We alcoholics are sensitive people. It takes some of us long time to outgrow the serious handicap. Many alcoholics are enthusiastic. enthusiastic. They run to extremes, and the beginning of recovery a man will take, as a rule, one or two directions. He may either plunge into a frantic attempt to get on his feet in business, or he may be so enthralled by his new life that he talks or thinks a little else. In either case, certain family problems will arise. With these, we will have had experience galore. We think it is dangerous if he rushes headlong at his economic problem. The family will be affected also, pleasantly at first, as they feel their money troubles are about to be solved. Then not so pleasantly as they find themselves neglected. Dad may be tired at night and preoccupied by this. He may take small interest in the children and may show irritation when reproved for his delinquencies. If not irritable, he may seem dull and boring, not gay and affectionate. In other words, not happy and affectionate, as the family would like him to be. Mother may complain of intention inattention. They are all disappointed and often let him feel it. Beginning with such complaints, a barrier arises. He is straining every nerve to make up for lost time. He is striving to recover fortune and reputation and feels he is doing very well. Sometimes mother and children don't think so. Having been neglected and misused in the past, they think father owes them more than they are getting. They want him to make a fuss over them. They expect him to give them the nice times they used to have before he drank so much, and to show his contrition for what they suffered. But Dad doesn't give freely of himself. Resentment grows. He becomes still less or communicative. Sometimes he explodes over a trifle. The family is mystified. They criticize, pointing out how he is falling down on his spiritual program. This sort of thing can be avoided. Both father and the family are mistaken. Though each side may have some justification, it is a little use to argue and only makes the impasse impasses worse. The family must realize that Dad, through marvelously improved, or so marvelously improved, is still con- convalescing, convalescing. They should be thankful he is sober and able to be of the world once more. Let them praise his progress. Let them remember that his drinking wrought all kinds of damage that may take long to repair. If they sense these things, they will not take so seriously his periods of crankiness, depression, or empathy, which will appear when there is tolerance, love, and spiritual understanding. The head of the house ought to remember that he is mainly the blame for what befell his home. He can scarcely square the account in his lifetime, but he must see the danger of over concentrating concentration on financial success. Although financial recovery is on the way for many of us, we found we could not place money first. For us, material well-being always follows spiritual progress. If it needs, it never preceded. I think I'm going to stop there for today. So I have a couple of things that I did star by because, well, I don't know why. But one of them was the painful past may be an infinite value to other families still struggling with their problem. In the beginning, I would always bring up the past. Always. You did this, you did that. I did nothing wrong. I'm doing everything right. When really, we feel that way because coming from that part of my life, anyways, I felt like I was doing everything exactly the way it needed to be done. Now, if I got annoyed or I couldn't tolerate somebody, I'd leave. But I had to learn the tolerance. I had to tolerate people saying whatever they're going to say. And I can pick the high road and go above that and not feed into that argument. So, um, but not everything is going to go exactly how you planned it. Nothing ever does. And that's the thing with being sober is we need to have humor when things don't go your way. Because life happens, life changes things, and you have to be able to just shrug it off and go about your day. Because if somebody flakes you off or whatever, you can't control what they're doing, but you can control how you perceive that and your reaction. By building resentment, that's not a good thing. For us, resentment is very bad. It can lead to a lot of not good things, and it's better to get rid of that resentment right away. And that's another one of your daily steps that you need to do. And then what I just read, this sort of thing can be avoided. Both father and the family are mistaken. So, on one side, your family has this idea, and on this side, our side, we have a different idea. They clash. It's not always going to match. Like, I might be thinking that they're being the rudest people that could ever live, and blah, blah, blah. But they could be thinking the same thing of me. Miscommunication, not understanding one's point of view of what what and how we perceive it. So when we're justifying something, they're justifying too, and it's better to be open minded, as in the beginning of your AA journey, open minded to that higher thing, a higher power, and just try to meet in the middle. I mean, they think they're right and you think you're right, but come in the middle and say, we're both on the same page. We both understand it the same way, pretty much the same way. And, it's the same idea, the same concept. It's just a different way of saying it. That's an easy way to get over an argument. It's not worth it. I mean, you're wasting your breath making your day bad. Why? It's not going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel lousy. And the other person's going to feel like, well, that just pushing it too far. And then you're back in the same situation you just came from. Pushing your family away because the alcohol is more important. That's what we did. And we don't realize that until after we get sober. Then we realize, oh, it was me doing that the whole time. They didn't tell me to go away. That was me making them want me to go away. No, I'm not going to talk in the DM, thanks. But, I mean, being sober is the best thing. Being able to communicate with people and have understanding on both sides is ideal. But, we're not going to always agree on everything. We're not going to always see everything the same way. But when we communicate in a different way, it makes it easier for both sides. And I'm just glad that I got sober when I got sober. Because if I hadn't have, I would probably not be sitting here today. I wouldn't have my home. I wouldn't have my vehicle. I wouldn't have my family. I would, there's a lot of wouldn't have and what I have now. And I'm blessed for it. And I have all of you that I feel safe telling my story. And I'm not ashamed of where I came from. I just know that I'm not going to go back. My plan is to not go back. My sobriety date is coming up, and I'm trying to not get too excited um, because it's still one day at a time. No matter how long you've been sober, it's one day at a time. Um, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and I'm just glad I'm sober today. I'm glad I'm able to do my meetings here for all of you and have you guys' support. Um, Hello, Mr. Gold Penny. Thank you for being here. Um, but yeah, I'm still uploading concert videos and um, our trip to Long Beach, Washington. So watch out for those. Most of my concert ones are shorts because copyright reasons. So, but anyways, I'm gonna say the Trinity Prayer, read the daily reflection, and let you guys go about your day. Today's daily reflection, September 17th, freedom from fear. When with God's help, we calmly accept our lot, then we found we could live at peace with ourselves and show others who still suffered the same fears that they could get over them too. We found that freedom from fear was more important than freedom from want. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 122. Material values ruled my life for many years. During my active alcoholism, I believed that all of my possessions would make me happy. Yet I still felt bankrupt after I obtained them. When I first come when I first came into AA, I found out about a new way of living. As a result of learning to trust others, I began to believe in a power greater than myself. Having faith freed me from the bondage of self. As material gains were replaced by the gifts of the Spirit, my life became manageable. I then chose to share my experience with other alcoholics. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, is sharing my life, my story with other alcoholics. And with that, let's say the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you guys. Be safe and know you're not alone.